So there I was sat on the bog this morning, right, and I thought I'm going to make some content this morning. What should I do? And boom, I thought let's do a tier list, but not any old tier list. I thought as a lefty myself, I would make a Southpaw UFC tier list. Now before we crack on, I do have to say, yes, some of these fighters are going to end up in D tier, but they're all great fighters, it's just relative to everybody else. Let's crack on. I'm doing this in weight order, and first up is the Bullet, Valentina Shevchenko. Now, I'm going to put a B tier, and the reason is she's obviously coming off of 2 losses. If she still had the belt, she'd definitely be A tier. In my opinion, the second best female fighter in UFC history. If she could have got maybe 2 or 3 more defences, argument there to overpass Nunes. But for now, I think B tier is alright. Okay then, it's time for Raw Dog Royval. I'm going to have to put him D tier. Yes, he may win the title against Pantoja later in the year. I don't think he will. But he was good against Nicolau. I thought I should put him on the list for a bit of diversity, like in terms of weight, not anything else. Oh, Jesus, but yeah. I'm going to put him D tier. This is going to be a good one. Sean O'Malley, in my opinion, right at the top of B tier, so ahead of Valentina. I mean, yes, he just beat the shit out of Sterling, but apart from that, who's his best win? Yan? Arguably didn't win that fight. Outside of that, I mean, it's Howley and Piver. I can't put him A tier, I'm sorry. Only 2 people in A tier, and we ain't got to them yet. Sean is not one of them, and his hair's shit as well. There are 2 featherweights on this list, and up first is our boy Arnie. Now, he's obviously C tier. If you can go all 5 rounds with Max Holloway and be relatively competitive for most of the fight, there's no way you're a D tier fighter. He's not on the level of the B tier lot, but a C tier definitely. Solid. Here he is, the hillbilly twister boy, Bryce Mitchell. Now, he has to be D tier, right? He's a lot worse than Arnold Allen in the same division. Yes, he was ill against Ilya, but he looked like dog shit, and he wasn't great against Danny Gay either. And the best part of that fight was the post-fight interview. That's never a good thing. So D tier is fair. A tier Islam Makhachev. Why did you have to do that to Volk? He's such a lovely bottle bastard. I mean, he came in on short notice. I'm coping over it, I'm sorry, but he has to be A tier. He's, in my opinion, he's the pound for pound number 1. I get the argument on Jones, but I think Islam is effectively just like his mate Habib. But I'd say his top game is maybe not quite as good, but the striking is infinitely better. I honestly think that the only person at welterweight that I could even see giving him problems is Leon Edwards. And the lightweight's got no chance. He's an obvious A tier, and I can tell you for now, he's number 1. Right then, DP, interesting one. In my opinion, it has to be B tier. The question is where. I'm probably going to put him just behind Valentina. And I think the reason for that is he's 3-2 in his last 5, and those 3 wins have been against Michael Chandler and then 2 against Conor. They're not great wins at this point. And his losses, he's really not looked that good. So, awesome career, awesome fighter. Love him to pieces, but at the bottom end of B tier is fair. At least at this point. I just think that Beneil Dariush has got C tier written on his forehead. Probably just above Arnold. Actually, what the fuck am I on about? He's going below Arnie. He looked shit against Oliveira. He looked like a lost shopkeeper in that fight. But at the Tony Ferguson win, it was a bit earlier in his loss streak, so it looks slightly better. And the Gamrot win is actually aging quite well. So I think C tier is kind of where he belongs. Here, at least. Oh, here he is. Look, Mr. Twitter voice note himself, Mr. Conor McGregor. Now, you can't put him in B tier when he's lost twice against DP very recently. So I'm going to put him C tier. And I'm going to put him at the bottom of C tier because if he fought Dariush right now, he'd lose. So therefore he has to go below him. I'm not going to waste any more time with him. He's a scumbag. I don't like him no more. Bottom of C tier. Move on. I absolutely love this man. RDA, what a legend with his James Bond mustache. Absolute beast. But I think I'm going to split Dariush and Conor and put him in there. The reason is I still think he could beat high-ranked guys over 2 weight classes. And he's nearly 40. That deserves credit. So, maybe slightly high after his recent loss, but Luque is a big dude. He took massive shots and still kept going. So, I think right there, right in that little area, is right. No doubt about this one. Leon Edwards is going straight in at A tier, but he's going to go below Islam. I think he's number 5, maybe 4 in the pound for pound rankings. He can't not be A tier really at that kind of rate in the pound for pound. But like I said earlier, I don't see him doing that well against Islam if he moves up. However, I do think he beats Colby, and I think he is the best welterweight in the world right now. So I think A tier is exactly where he needs to be, and he's British, so come on, Leon. I have a feeling I'm about to upset some people here, but I actually really rate Colby Covington as a fighter and a personality. He's basically Dylan Dennis if Dennis actually knew how to fight. That's effectively how I would describe Colby, but he's B tier again, he has to be. But again, where do I put him? I'm going to put him in between Sean and Valentina. I think, yes, he's inactive, all this kind of stuff, all this type of stuff, but no, he's just He's just good, isn't he? He's really, really good at fighting. His his pace and the chain wrestling is a nightmare for anybody. Even Leon, it will be very difficult for Leon. However, I just see him edging it, and that's why Leon's A and Colby's B. Right, let's talk about this ogre then, Marvin Vettori. Now, if this was based on just sheer will and toughness, he'd be right at the top of A tier. However, it ain't. It's based on skill, so he's going at the top of D tier. Now, he was really, really poor against Vettori. Against Cannonier. Fuck, I'm losing my mind. Anyway, he's literally just a 1-2 and maybe a sloppy takedown here and there. The only person he ever really held down was Kevin Holland. I think I could take Holland down. I'm not going to lie. But, look. And the invariables, like the heart and the cardio on the top, amazing. But I am trying to rank this more on skill. And on skill, he's nowhere near as good as Connor or RDA. But he's probably better than Mitchell overall and Royval. So right at the top of D tier is fair for Marvin, for me. I think it's time you look away, Dagestanis, because Ankalaev's going top of C tier. Now look, how can I put you B tier when your best wins in the promotion are Anthony Smith and Thiago Santos? Enough said. Look, yes, he's been unlucky. At the Walker fight, I don't know what was going on there. It's just, honestly, that doctor needs to be questioned for some kind of illegal activity. I mean, poor Victor Henry and his balls. Anyway, not important for the tier list. I agree with the draw with Jan Blachowicz. I do. I thought it was 1-2-3 for Jan, and I thought the last two Ankalaev with the 10-8. That was the right call. But I can see why you would say 3-2 Ankalaev. I understand. But like I said, if your main wins are literally an orc and a guy who just literally failed an actual drug test in the PFL, you're not going in B tier. I'm sorry, Magomed. I'm sorry, mate. And last up, Jamal Hill. I think this is quite easy. He's the bottom of B tier. He's ahead of Ankalaev. The reason is he's actually held the title. I'm sorry, Magomed. There was no need for that. But yeah, unfortunately, he's not going to get a title shot when he comes back. The reason is all the injuries and the people moving up and the no contest at light heavyweight is just completely logjammed that division. It's a shame, but the fact that he has been a recent champion and he completely beat the crap out of Glover Teixeira, who really, really pushed Yuri Prochazka, by the way. Not a lot of people are fucking remembering that shit, but he did. Yeah, he has to go B tier. I wouldn't quite say it's enough to overtake a Poirier or a Valentina, but a solid B tier, 100%. Right, you lot, that is the completed UFC Southpaw tier list. Let me know in the comments what you think, and why don't you whack me some ideas on new content? I know I've been a bit inconsistent. I'm a little bit like Chan the Fight, and I'm just all over the gaff, but I'm back for good now. Make sure you let me know, and I'll catch you later.